Welcome back to the workshop. Woodworks by Snyder. Forgot my own name. It is good to be back in the garage doing some woodworking. Took a hiatus here for the last few days, dealing with some family type of issues, but everything is good. I saw one new subscriber jump on board today. Alan, I believe his name is. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you enjoy the page. And now let's get into it. Where are we at with the table? All right, so we got the legs done. I think that you saw that in the last episode, both legs sitting over there. The whole underside, this is the top of the table now. The whole underside of the table is sanded down to an 80 grit. I'm unsure if I'm gonna keep it at an 80 grit. It's the underside of the table, it's smooth enough. Or step it up a notch, maybe go 100 or 120 or something on that before I put the finish on. But before I do any of that, I got the top of the table. In this episode, what I'm trying to do is really concentrate just on the breadboards. So, last time you saw, we cut these out. This is like the dental work, right? I got 5 tenons. That's 5, right? Yeah, 5 tenons. What I did is transfer. This is the top of the board facing towards the table. I transferred, sorry about that. Transferred all the marks from the underside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenons, right? That's what has to be inside the board. I have to make the mortises in there. But before I do that, I want to put this 1-inch kind of like a groove to accommodate this all the way across. And so what I'm doing over here is setting up the table saw to get it right. This was a test piece I was using off of that board I just showed you. Same orientation. And you can see it fits. It's got some little tweaking to do. Fits nice. But I don't know if you can see this. We're trying to see. The light is horrible in there. Basically what I'm trying to show you is the tongue, this part is a little short of the groove. So basically the groove is just a tad too deep. So what I need to do is I lowered that saw blade. Alright, got one groove done, and I am liking how this fits. Not super snug, but it's snug. You know, get some wax to get on there. See how that, oh yeah, that fits nice. You can actually hear it. Right? That's nice. So, each one of these are marked, these teeth. So basically, I'll do the other one. I'm going to groove the other one, and then I'm going to come back and make the mortises. But this middle one will be the snuggest mortise and tenon. The rest of these, I'll give a little bit of wiggle room, maybe a 1/16 of an inch on each side to account for expansion and contraction. And I mean, I really don't anticipate this wood moving that much. The reason I say that is because this wood is over 100 years old. I think any movement that it's going to do, or that it was going to do, has been done over the course of 100 years. I don't think it's going to expand and contract that much. But just to account for it, that's why we put the little gap on the edge of these teeth. All right, both breadboards are grooved out. Both fitting nice and snug. See this one? All marked where the teeth are. So now what I'll start doing is setting up the drill jig here so I can mortise out where these teeth need to go. So that'll be the next part of it. Should be cool though. It's fitting together nice, taking my time, making sure I get the measurements, and just taking little pieces, you know, step by step. So I test fitted this a couple times. It was super tight. It was super tight on these two teeth. So used the planer and the sander a little bit to knock it down, and just kept doing that until I get to the point where it is a snug fit. So I don't know if you can see this. We'll try, see what happens. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. So there's the hole. I'm trying to show you that basically the hole is about, I don't know, a 1/16 inch to the other side of this line, this mark. And I may end up having to square it up with the chisel, but that's all right. So I'm gonna basically drill all of these outer, where the outside of the tongue goes, or the tenon goes, and then basically drill to hollow out that whole line in there. And then got to come back with the chisel and square it up. And essentially, you know, trial and error. It's a long process, but take your time, and sucker will fit like a glove. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Cinched up nice. I think I like that. Take that joint, I believe. Obviously got to sand some. A little high in some spots. Probably use a little hand plane or something. Knock that down. But that fits in nice. So I don't know what that take me. 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. All right, decided to drill the holes instead of doing that other one right now. So what I did, marked out this hole is 2 inches on center, right in the center of this tooth. Here's tooth, 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 tooth. Okay? So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take, it's a 3/8 inch drill bit. It's a brad point drill bit. Okay? If you can see that. And so, we're going to use this to mark the center onto the teeth. Right? Okay, so now that the center of each one of these holes is marked on the tooth. I gotta get this off. Alright. So now the center of each one of these, you can see right here. Let's see if I can mark these. Right here. 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 Right there. And right there. So now what I'm going to do is take the same brad point and just, I don't know, maybe a 1/16 of an inch this way. Okay, because I want this hole that's going to drill in these teeth and the hole that's in the breadboard to be offset. That's what, when you drive the peg through, basically it's driving through and bending a little bit as it goes into this tooth, kind of snaking around, and that's what's pulling the breadboard tight against the table. 1/16 of an inch. 1/16. 1/16. Just slice my finger. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm on target here. All right, now get this and drill these holes using this new center. these holes, burp, 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 are shifted just a hair closer to the table, or to the shoulder here, than the holes in the breadboard. And so when you hammer the peg in, essentially, you go through the hole in the breadboard and hit this little bit of edge. It's going to almost draw on an angle and then go out the breadboard hole at the bottom. And that's what pulls it tight this way. And I quickly realized that I did not elongate the holes. So I get this glued up. Let me quickly elongate these holes. All right. Get some new glue on here, since I'm a bonehead and forgot all about it. Basically, elongating these holes allows these boards to move without essentially allows these boards to move independently. And basically not be hindered by the breadboard. Sure if you can see it. I gotta clean this glue line up, but let's see if we can get in there. See how that hole is slightly offset? That little edge right there that you're seeing in there, that's the teeth. And so I just want to glue around the top of these pegs. I want to glue them to the table. I want to glue them to the breadboard. Clean up some of this glue. And basically, it has cinched that up pretty good. The joint was already pretty tight, but that is a pretty dang good joint. I don't know, it might be 64th or 32nd off of the table. Pretty uniform. I'm liking it. Now what we'll do is cut these pegs and camera work is crap today. Clean up as much as glue as I can to make it easier than sanding. That is essentially one breadboard done. See if we can clean up this epoxy. Oh, it's got some sawdust in there we'll have to clean out, but that's cool. It's like a galaxy look. That's nice. All right, so we'll let this set up and dry. That's one breadboard. We'll come back, we'll cut these. I was watching some other videos somewhere, and because we're at the height of winter here in Virginia. Now, if this table's gonna move, obviously it's not gonna contract anymore. It's not gonna shrink anymore this way, right? But come summer, maybe it'll expand a little bit. So what I may do is cut these breadboards just a little proud of the actual table. So maybe the 1/16 of an inch proud of this table edge. Same thing with this one. This way, if it does expand, then it'll expand to where I cut. I mean, it's all a guessing game on really how much this table moves, but I think that's what I'll do. I've seen some people do it on the table, and actually it's a nice look. Even if the table doesn't move, the breadboard just a little proud, so you have like a little bit of a profile. And it actually looks good. So that's what I'll do. We'll get working on the next breadboard and do the same thing. Cinch it up and drill it and drive it in and glue it up. Be all good to go. All right, yeah, I got the glasses on today, and yeah, I'm rocking the Mr. Rogers cardigan. No thanks, but what is it? Trying to remember the quote from Dumb and Dumber. Pull over. He says, "It's a cardigan, but thanks for asking." It was a bad joke, I guess. Anyways, what you just saw was me finishing up this last breadboard, like I did on the first breadboard. Here we are, nice and tight. It pulled it super tight up, you know, small, I don't know, maybe a 64th, 32nd, but that is nice and tight. And so what you saw was me gluing this center tooth or a tenon, putting it on, and then hammering in each one of these and just gluing enough on the top of this peg so as I hammer it'll glue to the breadboard and not to the actual tenon itself. But there's where we're at. So I have to cut the length, but I did that on this one already. And you can see it's just a little proud. So I'll do the same thing over here. I'll probably do another sanding, probably start with, I think, 100 grit on this side to do on the top. Sand it all down, then I've got to flip it and then prepare the bottom. Get the bottom to where it's ready for a finish, and then also mess with these tenons and the legs and get those situated to where they need to be on the bottom of the table. Then I can flip it over, sand, and get the top ready for a finish. And then it's pretty much clean the hell out of the shop, de-dust everything in the shop here, and get ready to actually put a finish on this table. I've got to order, I'm gonna try an Osmo product. It's on the pricier side, but everything I'm seeing about this finish is very durable, a very nice looking hand rub finish to it. And so I'm excited to try that out. I know it's a pretty sad state of affairs when I get excited about a finish. It's like a poly oil type of thing. So like what do they call it? Poly X oil, or I forget I'll get the name for it, and I'll show that in the next video and all that jazz. But then I also have to order some specific clips, shaped like a little figure 8, 2 holes. One gets screwed, recessed and screwed to the leg parts, and I'm actually going to mount it to the top stretcher itself, and then the other part gets screwed to the underside of the table, and that's how it gets secured together. So we're getting close to wrapping this sucker up. All the big major work is out of the way. We'll cut that up, flip it, start working on the underside, getting that ready to go, messing with the legs and everything, and then we're really getting ready to put a finish on it and deliver it. So it should be wrapping up, maybe a couple more episodes, 2, 3 at the most, I think. And we'll be good to go. But thanks for joining. Thanks for the extra couple of subscribers. I think we're at 30 now. Let's keep going. It's slow pace, but I'll take it. Thanks for joining. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe, share it around, get some more subscribers. But thanks for joining me. Until next time. Next time.